evening, everyone. It is the 3rd of November, and I need to cough. Dora, say hello to everyone, please.
Hello, how is everyone doing? I hope you're all well. I hope you're all good after this absolutely horrendous game from both sides. I'm doing pretty well, and yeah, I'm always happy to come on United Agenda. So yeah, I heard Bethan had a great dinner. Can you tell us about that a bit?
Yeah, the match reaction is late because I've had just an amazing dinner, and it's really put a shine on my day after a terrible football match. Right, Dora, you don't play Sunday League, do you?
No.
Now, have you ever thought about doing it? And in chat, if you don't play for a football team, give me an explanation why.
Honestly, I wanted to do it when I was, a kid. And then a lot of things, right? Outside activities, like, I was going to study English, German, outside of the school thing. Then I went to sing in a choir, which is amazing. Yeah. And then, I played a lot of football with my, friends, with my neighbors, and I wanted to play more seriously, but I never had time, honestly. And I felt like it was too much during that moment in my life, because I think it was supposed to be great for me, right? But I liked watching football more, honestly, and sports. It's probably the most important thing in my life, I would say, which is insane to hear from someone, but it's very important part of my life. But yeah, I wish I went to some kind of sign league. If I actually maybe tried harder to find someone who plays, but it's mostly men, and it's very hard to find other or a mixed Sunday league team or something else. How do
You'll
you
find
say it?
five-a-side, right?
Yeah.
By
Yeah.
January, Dora, you've got to be playing football.
Okay.
Everyone else here as well. That is the target. 500 likes, and also for everyone here to join a football team of some sort, because we're not getting any joy from our football team.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, should we see what the comments are up to?
Yep.
All right. We got Eddie's Football Waffle. Big up everyone in attendance, dropping a like. Hope Amarin can fix this lot, entertain, and then win. I couldn't agree more. Subvids, who does our intro and outro. Hello, how are you? It's Bilal. Big yourself up. I wish we stopped conceding straight after scoring. Bilal, do you have a football team that you play for? But you almost certainly won't have a football team, but you did express some interest in a film I told you about. I told Bart about Moon Man as well. So let me know if you've seen it. And here's Andrew, straight away, double D's tonight. Thank you. They look. I can't say that. And it's Stephanie Griffiths. How are you, Steph? I hope that you're doing well. We got Matty Bassett, king of the kebab. You're right there, Dora?
Yeah, I have a malfunctioning chair, and if you see me going like this slowly, it's my chair. I'm not doing a bit.
Bath time twinned with dinner time today. To be honest, bath time plus drinks time is the best time. Really like that. Have I played cricket? I have played cricket, but I wasn't very good at it. Crap at football. We played bowls. I quite like bowls. You must get a bit of bowls in Croatia.
What's bowls?
It's like kind of bowling on a lawn, and the idea is you've got to get your ball as close.
It's very popular here. Yeah, we call it bochanje. It's mostly older people play it. It's like a tradition here to play bowls. But it's very fun with if you have a good group of people to play with.
It's really popular in Manchester. Like
Oh wow.
I used to live around the corner from a bowl screen, and I think Gary Neville might have grown up near a bowl screen as well. It's a proper English sport.
Yeah.
Andrew, chess team. I'm already dubious about this. It was mixed. Okay, and Andrew, are you in a chess team? I haven't submitted. You've probably sent it to Mr. B, and he's got other things going on at the moment. This is a good one. Is your name Birth Times? You got sent off all the time. That's very clever, Bilal. And I'm not, so no, it's not. And it's We Deserve Better. I was going to say happy birthday to you. We deserve better. Maybe it is your birthday. Give everyone candles in chat for We Deserve Better in his birthday. Excellent. We're on 7,000 likes. Yeah, King Dino. Bowls is a pensioners game, but I think you're a boxer. Like, so you're a long, long way off playing bowls. But I just think it's great that there's games that old people can play and do play. Sport's such an important part of life.
Yeah.
Popular in Wales as well. My brother is 48 and plays bowls. Yeah, that's good. Right. So this is what we're doing. If you don't play football, you've got to take up bowls. Okay, Raging Bulls. And we've got Tyrone. All right. So keep it coming in the comments about like what sports that you play, and hopefully we can encourage you to at least join a five-a-side team. But unfortunately, we have to discuss the match today, and I was deeply, deeply unimpressed, Dora. Give me your overall view of the match.
Well, I think that sorry, I'm on pause. Bye bye. No, it was, overall I'm not very satisfied with the way we played, with the game, with the way game went on. I felt that both teams were quite messy with the way they played. But of course, as a United fan, I was more disappointed with how we played. Once again, we have a problem in the attack. Our strikers are, made of wood. They are literal trees, and it helps that Zirkzee actually has a hair or a hairstyle like a he looks like a tree, literally. And I am very disappointed with Rasmus Højlund with the way he played today. Once again, as I said, very poor attacking. Defensively, we were meh. Okay, I guess in the middle it was up and down in my opinion. But overall, like the whole game was just, I don't think we created enough. I think we could have, I felt like that we could have won this game. We had some very promising chances that, once again, some of the younger players, I'm pointing out, Højlund and Alejandro Garnacho, I don't think they are luxury players that can, how do you say? They're not luxury players that that can miss hundreds of chances during the game and not score one. And I felt that Garnacho had a stonewall, thing in the first half. He missed it. It went in the second half. Sorry, it went over his foot. Rashford had a chance in the first half as well, which hit the bar. Like, I felt that we are more compact. I feel that we are playing more safe, but it's just lack of creation, lack of attacking threat, and once again we are conceding after we score, which is. But yeah, I'm not really happy about this.
Would you be more happy to read some Bowles comments?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Well, Tyrone is dissing Bowles here. Says it looks like the most boring game in the world.
I played it. It's actually really fun.
Fun.
Yeah, with good people, it's really fun. I played it. It's a joy.
When we were younger, right? I'd say about 17. There was a pub called the Wheat Sheaf, which was about 6 or 7 miles away, that would serve people alcohol, who were underage, and it had a bowling green outside where you could play balls. But I think it was called Petard or something. It was like a French version. And one summer we got so into balls that the loser of the balls used to get dunked in the river. It was so much fun. Obviously, I wasn't drinking then because I was a serious sportsman. But God, I wish I could go back to those days. Imagine that. It was so fun.
Yeah, it is.
Bilal's played Bokia.
Boccia.
What's that?
We call it boccia. Is that ball that you throw? Right?
Oh, okay. So that's balls. Balls.
Yeah, it is. It kind of is. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I guess it's quite similar, but we call it boccia. Yeah. Boccia is the ball that you throw. So yeah, Bilal is trying to decipher our all of our translations and cultures, which is really cool.
Well, King Dino is giving his official sort of decree as the king that it's okay to play bowls and golf. So everyone is safe. Too many comments about football here. Let's see if there's one about bowls. In women's bowls, the jack is called Jill. Tonight, has anyone heard about this? Aunt Sally, a pub game.
Oh wow!
Blue and red balls. And Tyrone, he's fallen for Bart here. Bart, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking? You're quite knowledgeable when you're not trolling. Do you know that Bart's doing a PhD in I think it's something to do with protein replication and viruses. Bart only acts like an idiot. He's probably quite clever. But just with a really, really sort of post-grad sense of humour. All right. Should we talk about the game now, or do you want to talk about bowls or PhDs?
Look, we can, talk about it later. But we can go back to football
All right, let's use this as a jumping off point where Andrew's given his ratings, and the one that really stands out to me is Hoyland, who I thought he was dreadful today, but when he came off, we didn't even have an outlet anymore. I'm very, very concerned about the centre forwards in our team, and that is even before you get on to Rashford and Garnacho and so on. What are we going to have to do with these players, Dora? Are they just bad players?
I don't know what to tell you, Bethan, because if I say that Hoyland is a bad player, then I'm a hater, because he's still quite, he's 22, 21, whatever he is, and we paid 70 mil for him, but I think he's currently a very bad player. Still, I'm saying that he's an unfinished article. I think he needs to learn how to play football, because I don't think he knows how to play football that time, in all honesty, and he is a football player, which is very concerning. For this game, because he played most of it, I need to start with him. I don't know what to do. I think he needs to either, hire, talk with the managers, or Ruben Amorim, who is probably going to come in, or, talk even with Ruud, who has the experience of it. And I'm just, I hope that he talks with him and, maybe gives him some kind of idea of what kind of striker he can be, because I feel that he doesn't know what he wants to be. Is he going to be a player that is going to play with his back to the goal and try to do Zirkzee is trying to do, move the ball to the wingers and run into space, or he's going to be the so-called Ollie Watkins, we always talk about, archetype type of player who is going to run into space, get rid of his defender.
I wish I'd never showed you that clip of Ollie Watkins.
Yeah, I wish you didn't show me as well.
So for people watching, I showed Dora a very brief clip of Ollie Watkins's movement and how it is just levels better than Rasmus Højlund's. But I think you hit a really interesting point here, Dora, which is that, is this a square peg in a round hole? And we're not using either of the strikers correctly. And they could do decent things in teams that are set up to use their gifts. Or I have to say that when I saw Rasmus running off, he looked like Keira Knightley or something when he was coming off. And I was really, really. Do you know what I hated about his performance today? It's the same reason I don't like Neymar. Is I felt that far too much of his game was him basically asking the referee to win him a football match instead of just going out and winning the football match, diving, crying. Like it's that's not a Manchester United player like sitting on the floor crying at a referee. Get up and smack some people around. Like put yourself out, even if you're having a bad game. Go and knock a few players about so they know they're in a game on or like tomorrow morning. I mean, Colwell, Fofana, Cucurella, these guys are dreadful defenders, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I mean, Colwell couldn't pass the ball straight a couple of times, just booting it out, especially for our goal. But I don't know. We'll do Xerxes next, but I want to keep the comments going. Because people get cross.
Go for it.
Okay, I think that this is. I agree 99% with this. It lacked quality. I think it completely did. I think the refereeing was actually quite good today. I like the fact he tried to let the game flow and played advantage. I was all right with that. I don't think there was any particularly bad decisions in it. Like there were a couple that looked a bit dodgy on the telly, and then when you saw the replay, they were fine. But I was more annoyed, King Dino, with our players' reaction to the refereeing. Like, just don't rely on a referee to let you win a football match. You're not Neymar.
I mean, I felt that some of the fouls could have been called. Honestly, I'm not going to pinpoint which, because there were lots of situations where our players would come off the ground and yell at and Old Trafford kind of caught on it, because you could hear the chants, you could hear them as well being unhappy with the way this ref was refereeing. He could have give us a bit more on the foul section, but I mean, overall, he was okay. The pen was there, and Martinez maybe got away with a murder at the end of the game. But yeah, I think he was okay. But I felt some of the fouls could have been called for us. Hello? Hello? Okay, bedtime is out, or maybe it's just me. But yeah, I mean, ref was kind of okay. I was not happy about the assistant referee, honestly, but I don't want to, talk about refing that much, honestly. 9 Premier League goals in 10 Premier League games. Yes, it is, Steph. I absolutely agree. I think we have a huge problem with the way we are attacking.
No, I have a huge problem with is my sodding internet.
I thought I froze up. I was really, what?
I thought you'd frozen up, so I've just been doing a show by myself for the last 2 minutes. I'm just sorry about that. I moved to Wi-Fi, so I could cut out again.
Yeah.
We got here to Kieran. Good luck, Ruben Amrin. You'll need it with this lot. No manager can turn this lot around. Name one forward apart from Garnacho who looked like scoring. Man, Garnacho, I mean, Tyrone's got it up here. Why can't you score the simple goals? I mean, I think it's because he's unbalanced, Tyrone, like physically and slightly mentally. Everything's too rushed. Like, he made a great run, like, because I'm sure we're all thinking about that one where Bruno just kind of stopped. He let the defense catch up to him. Garnacho stopped, played it to him. And Garnacho just doesn't even really strike the ball correctly. And he did, we've seen him miss so many of these kind of chances. And it's a lot of it is down to him, but there's got to be better coaching at the club to stop these things, or the setup's got to be better so that our players aren't out of energy when they go to strike the football. Like, that I was watching Rashford pretending to defend and then having to run 60 yards. And then when we win the ball, he's got to run that 60 yards back. And I was thinking, you can't do that for a whole game and expect any kind of results. You're going to absolutely flush out your muscles.
Well, how do you feel about Rashford getting subbed up at 50-something minute, third game in a row or something? and Garnacho stayed throughout the whole game. Now I'm not comparing the two. How do you feel about that? Like, I thought, Ten Hag started it before he got sacked. Rudy's continuing it, even against, I think, Leicester as well. I felt like he wanted to preserve him. But yeah, Rashford has been, I know he hasn't been the best, but in some, for example, today I felt that he was a bit better than Garnacho. In all honesty, like, don't attack me. I just felt that his output was, he was more useful because he would, get crosses in, and he had the chance in the first half and all that. And he had moments when he was dangerous on that right side. So how do you feel about Rashford getting subbed off at 50th minute or something? Do you think that he has fitness problems, or that he's injured, or that he has a beef with with everyone at the club?
Well, I mean, he was on a yellow card for dissent,
yeah,
and that was a poor decision to give the foul, but you have to give him the yellow card for smacking the ground. But all game, I looked at our team, and the energy was terrible. The fitness of our entire squad is appalling. They are jogging when they should be running. They're out of position. They don't push up enough. Everyone, to me, on that team looks unfit and not fit for purpose as a Premier League footballer. The conditioning is shocking. Rashford, I think that once again, I don't think that you would say that he was amazing or a waste of time. Where he hit the bar, I felt that a better striker with a more control, that looked like it just came off him, as opposed to him sort of striking it. He put a decent cross in. He did the running and things. But I think that the reason they took him off, and I cannot believe I'm saying this, is that Mark Cucurella was giving us problems. And Ahmad is a little bit, he's not brilliant, but he's noticeably the best of all our wingers at winning duels.
Yeah.
Even when you think back to that goal against Liverpool, Ahmad, McTominay headed it, and then Ahmad won that duel, and it got to Garnacho, and they went up. I think that it was more of a kind of defensive substitution, but you're right. Rashford is getting dragged a lot, and he's got to start performing because he's given all the money. But it's just for me, Dora. Do you know what it is, right? They've got to decide which one they want on the left and which one they want on the right, and stick with it. I don't like this chopping and changing, this audition.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm going to fast forward to a few through the comments. We're going to start off with Agile Beast. Hello, Agile. Højlund always tries to tussle with the centre-backs and is always marked and not a goal threat. I think we've talked about this all the time. It's that when you are shielding a football, you want to have a solid point of contact that's quite small with the guy that's marking you, right? So you want your shoulder, your arm, something like that, holding them off. Højlund, it's like, we got this TV show, Dora, called The Wall, where a big wall comes at you and you've got to get into a shape, because there's a hole in the wall or it knocks you off. Højlund just makes himself as big as possible and tries to feel up the striker. He looks like a desperate girl in a club vying for some bloke's attention on the dance floor when he's holding the ball, and it's appalling.
Yeah.
What's not appalling is Chat Sport. Good evening to you, Chat Sport. Did Bath Time fall asleep? Nearly did in the match. Stunned into silence. Yeah. I don't think Leacher should have been sent off. Very quickly, VAR looked at it. He wasn't sent off. It was probably a bit more than a yellow, bit less than a red. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time discussing referees' decisions because none of us know the rules.
Yeah.
And it didn't affect the game, did it? Every 50-50 decision went to Chelsea. I don't know about that, but I mean, you're a fan, innit? So when you see the game, you just think we should get everything. It's Johnny Hill. In my opinion, Mazraoui is the only player today that can say they played good. De Ligt and Martinez and Onana mostly solid, but Mazraoui easily the best for us. I tend to agree with that. I think Onana was decent as well. He did one really, really good pass. He did one really, really bad pass. He claimed a few balls. He dropped one. I think he was good. Martinez gave me a bit of butterflies. He was a bit ponderous on the ball. De Ligt did not impress me again today, especially when he let that ball bounce in the first half. But Mazraoui's a good footballer. I like him.
I
Do you
disagree
like
a bit
De Ligt?
on the Ligt. I think there was a moment where I think he should. I think that happened a few times already that season, where he lets the ball fly past him, and then he, kind of, gets rolled by the opposing player that runs at him. I think he should fix it, and be more aggressive when he's trying to get rid of the, try to clear out the danger. But I felt after that he stabilized because he had some game-saving blocks, I would say, especially in the second half, even in the first half as well. So I honestly think that De Ligt was quite okay. So I am slightly disagreeing with you on that one, but yeah, that moment when the ball came, over him and he let it through, it was a bit dodgy. But most of it, for the most game, I think he was really good because he was on point with his blocks and clearing out opportunities. Because we always talk about someone like. Sometimes you need center backs that are going to clear out their lines, like Maguire, Johnny Evans, those old school type of center backs. I felt that in those situations, he was really good with the way he cleared out the lines. So, yeah, that's my opinion on De Ligt.
Yeah, I wasn't impressed with his ball distribution. I wasn't impressed with him trying to clear the box quickly. We conceded from a corner. I'm not saying that he was poor. I just don't think that I when I go back to talking about the fitness of the team, Martinez and De Ligt are in this. Mazraoui and Dalot probably not, but they don't get up the pitch fast enough. Like the defenders, the line isn't aggressive enough when we clear that ball, and De Ligt is a massive part of this. There's too much sort of like handshaking and waving at each other and looking at the crowd instead of like squeezing up the pitch. It annoys me. Right, Retro is saying he thinks that Hoyler moved better if he was right-footed. It might sound stupid, but it's not. Connect and dribble with his left foot, has to insist himself, shoots with the right. I mean, look, if you're saying it's the difference between his left and his right foot, then the system is the problem, not the player. But I like left footers. Oh, God. Tyrone doesn't like Xerxes at all. I mean, Xerxes, man, he looked so asleep during one part in that game, but I think Bruno, like, sort of aerial backheeled one round the corner or something, and Xerxes. This is a big problem I find with both of our strikers, is that we consider them to be physical strikers. Xerxes 6'4", Rasmus not too far behind, but they're unable to use their frames to either hold the ball up or create enough space to get the shot off. And that moment today from Xerxes has kind of buried him in my mind as a United player. Like,
you're absolutely right. He just came in at that moment, right? He's fresh. And first thing that he gets is that ball that Bruno sent out. You're absolutely right. And he doesn't expect it. He fell asleep. First, he lost two steps, but he kind of got the ball. He starts running, and he gets, he trips over the ball. And I think in the end, it became some kind of a chance. But a proper striker runs with the ball, looks for the passers, passes it, or runs with the ball, tries to hold off the defender, with their body. Like Berbatov was on the stands today. Like, I think if I was him, and I would probably take my hair out. I would pull it out of frustration, because these lot don't look like proper strikers at all. And my problem with Zirks as well, he looks disinterested. He looks like he's falling asleep on the pitch. Like, I know that we're not in our every game needs to be as your last. I would say I would play like that, because I have the temperament like that. But if we are playing Chelsea, like these are I would say one of our rivals. why not, try to, pull it, out of your ass and, try to create something? But no. And after that, what did he do? Every single ball that went to him, it bounced off him like he was a tree. And to me, I feel like he is a tree. Like he doesn't have a touch of a proper footballer at this moment in time. He's out of form. He looks disinterested. I would right now. So we spent over 100 million euros on these two strikers, and now we have to look for another one because these two. I don't want to, be rude, but these two trees don't know how to play football, and now we need to look for another one, or they're not doing their jobs properly, scoring goals. And now we need to look for wingers as well because they're not good enough as it seems. So once again, we are going to spend another 100 million on wingers and strikers and pray for them to be good. Like it's just getting ridiculous.
A rebuild is what you feel is coming then.
Yeah.
I mean, I genuinely think that every Manchester United player should get a minimum of 18 months before you can kind of really say that it hasn't worked. But I have to say, I don't think I've turned quicker on a player than I have on Xerxes, based off what I've seen, where it's the appetite that is driving me mad. Is that you can look at players that you lot think were crap, like Fred, McTominay, Ashley Young, maybe these kind of players that people didn't really like at the time. They all showed desire and they all showed appetite. And Xerxes, a common thing that I'm seeing in the chat tonight was Andrew was putting very libelous comments about him taking a lot of diazepam, which is a sort of sleeping pill before the game. But I agree with it. He genuinely looks like an old woman out on the pitch that's got lost from doing her shopping and just doesn't want to be there. Like everything's happening around him. Like Xerxes in Hoyland. When you film a documentary, the idea is that you get as close to the action as possible without being involved in the action. No. And that's what they feel like to me. I mean, Rasmus is playing this kid-on football, like wrestling with players, making it look like he's doing something. He's offering nothing to the team. And Xerxes not even pretending to be a footballer. And I'm really, really, really disappointed with them because, I think earlier, our friend Tyrone said that it wasn't just the forwards. It wasn't just the defenders that weren't working hard enough. Like the midfield wasn't working hard enough. The strikers weren't working hard enough. Xerxes in Hoyland, all right, you're having a bad game, your touch is off. There's still things you can do. Go and apply pressure to defenders. Get in their faces. Have you ever seen, I haven't even seen Xerxes argue with a player yet. I've never seen him get physical. I'm really worried about the character because, look, he lacks aggression and desire. Couldn't agree more. Xerxes apparently also looks like Tyrone's friend Avis, who used to work as a cleaner on nights. Moonlighting then. However, Medi's got a bit of balance for us that he can become a beast in Amran's system as one of the two behind the striker. And this is my problem, Medi, right? Is I don't think it's about finding a place for him in the system. I don't think he has the minerals to be able to handle Old Trafford and handle being a Manchester United player because he's showing nothing on the football pitch. I wasn't a McTominay fan, but he's a better striker than Xerxes is. And now it's probably, I think I saw Big G as well talking about this. Right, Garnacho. I think it might be time to take him out of the team, put Rashford on the left and give Ahmad, even though I don't think that Ahmad does anything really, but give Ahmed 3 or 4 games on the right with Garnacho being the guy that gets subbed on. Am I being stupid, Dora, by putting our most dangerous player on the bench? Or what are your thoughts?
I think first of all, I think he needs a rest because he played almost at the beginning of the season, he was coming off the bench, and he created, he was an impact from the bench. Then he started to start. He was, scoring goals, but then he didn't. His form is very inconsistent this season. So I don't know, is it because last season we had a stat of Garnacho playing, I think Ten Hag started in 34 times in a row, which is insane. So maybe he is struggling with his fitness. But yeah, I think we need to change something because we maybe try with Russia through the middle and try with Garnacho and Ahmad at wings, but we went, because we have poor strikers, but we went through that already. We will probably need to play with one of two strikers at number 9 position. So yeah, experiment a bit.
You agree?
But yeah, I agree. I think he needs to be on a bench a bit. Honestly, I think he's just gassed, and he isn't. He's missing too many chances.
The other thing that I feel like is that under Eric, we had a lot of favoritism, a lot of loyalty issues, specifically around Anthony. And I think that if you see a guy just stinking it up week in, week out, it doesn't matter if he's a little bit better than the players on the bench. It's a squad game. You've got to get people on.
Yeah.
Competition is so important in the squad, but also it's the belief that if you do well, you can get in the squad. And here's someone who's in our squad. It's Ed Mayhem. Poor, I thought. Neville doing my head in a bit as well. Hope everyone's well. Did you watch the commentary of Gary Neville?
No, we had a Croatian broadcast. So
Gary Neville, he hates our team. He hates the players.
Yeah,
and I'm with him.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but I think he's just I don't want him to be a homer, right? To be very subjective and all that. But sometimes he's just talking out of his ass, so he doesn't appear that he subjective or biased towards United. Sometimes he's guessing other teams too much and attacking United. But yeah, I'm not very. I think his commentary kind of got worse in the last 2 years, because I had the opportunity to hear him on some of the dodgy streams that I had to catch up with. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Gary Neville as well.
I'm a massive fan of Gary Neville. I think he's absolutely criminally underrated as a captain for Manchester United. But I just feel that he's like me, and he looks at these players and you watch other football, and then you see these clowns out on the pitch, and it feels like an insult to all those years that you spent supporting proper players. And he was one of those proper players. All right, Andrew, he's telling us about Garnacho. He has to learn to consider a pass before he shoots.
Can I cut you off for a bit? I just need to jump to have something. I'll be back in 30 seconds. Sorry.
All right. Well, we'll just do the comments till then, lads, while the cat's away. Ahmad gives us nothing, but Garnacho always looks great from the bench. I kind of agree, King Dino, with that. But we had, I think, we saw some Ahmad comments, but let's do Gary Neville. Gary Neville shouldn't be on United games. Calling the team clueless at pressing might be true, but coming from an ex-United player isn't a good look. Gary has always gone hard on United, so that he isn't called out for being biased. Interestingly, Carragher never goes overboard on the. Yes, he does. Right, Garnacho just needs to sort his finishing out. He snatches at goals, gets too excited. It's one extreme to the other. Do you think, Big G, that is an example of an immature player, or a player that needs to be coached, or maybe a player that needs consequences for bad performances? Nev's annoying, comparing himself to Mika Richards. Mika Richards was all right once, for 3 or 4 games. G-Nev tries too hard not to be a United fan on TV. Is that PP your parrot just going absolutely mental about Gary Neville?
No, he just, he's not going mental. He just said hi because I was downstairs and now I'm back. Sorry for that, guys.
Garnacho simply won't pass the ball. He's too selfish. Garnacho, this is right. This is something I thought about. So, like, Dora, when I was like playing in midfield, I was originally put as a box midfielder, which is the guy that runs about. And,
that's why you love Scott McTominay.
Yes, any player that is physical and can run, I'm a huge fan of, because I wasn't physical enough. But when you play this position, right, you're told get ahead of the ball, and when you're ahead of the ball, you've got like little choices you can make. You can just run straight towards goal. You can try and stretch the pitch. You can make space, but essentially, you're making the choice of, am I trying to score a goal, or am I trying to create space for someone else to do something?
Yeah.
Okay, right. So that's a huge part of being a footballer, is doing what I call suicide runs, and the thing is that when Tyrone says Garnacho only wants to score goals, I think all of our frontline players are only concerned about goals. Rashford, Garnacho, Hoyland, none of them are doing the hard yards to help the team out. And I think it's a massive cultural problem at United that they're too concerned with the individual as opposed to the collective. Am I going over the top here? Or what do you think?
I mean, even today, by the time, like we talked about it during the game. For example, now we are, talking about Garnacho, but this is an example of how Hoyland, for example, played today. Now we all know that he loves to wrestle with center backs because he thinks this is WWE. But what I felt today, what he should have done, for example, and not even, when he is with his back to the goal, when he's running into to the defenders, right? And we, as fans, we always felt, okay, when he's carrying the ball, he should be good because, he's big and throw, blah, blah. That's more of his game. And he didn't pass it that time. He had Rashford on the left. He had Garnacho on the right. He had Bruno coming from behind. And he's running into Colville, and the guy just steps up and takes away his ball. And he drops down on the pitch like a crybaby and starts, talking to the refs like he took that away cleanly. If you passed it, if you let go of the ball earlier, you would get a free kick. He did it once when Colville was late in the first half, and there was that free kick of Bruno. He did it once, or that was Ugarte. Doesn't matter. He did it once, but in those situations, and it happened 2 or 3 times, he needs to pass it, but he doesn't because he wants to score a goal. He wants to, go for a glory. And it's not just him, it's Garnacho. We saw it multiple times. We are seeing it more from Garnacho because he's getting a lot of chances, which I really don't like. Not that I don't like him getting chances, it's just that he's wasting them too much. Like this is not, and I said it multiple times, he's not that of a luxury player to, have hundreds, chances and not scoring even 1 goal. To me, if you miss 6 stonewall chances, for example, like the guys did it against West Ham, I would pull you off at a halftime, honestly, because if you cannot score, if you are wasting those chances, you're going on the bench, and I will put someone who is going to score. And they need to learn, not just 1 player or 2 players. Everyone in that attack needs to learn how to share the ball because, as we said it multiple times in the last few years, sometimes when these players' backs are against the wall, they always want to go for a glory. They always want to be, the ones who will, get praised by the fans and all that.
Main
and they
character
will have
syndrome.
Exactly. And then they will go on the Instagram and, they will, post a picture from the game. Do they actually do
this, though? I don't have Instagram, so I don't
know.
I'm sorry, I don't speak whatever language.
Sorry, I'm eating mandarins from Dubrovnik, so that's sorry about that. They're amazing. Yeah, eat healthy. But no, it happens.
Are you on Instagram?
Yes, yeah,
And
not.
do they do
Yeah.
this though? Do players after a match go and put pictures of themselves with stupid captions like LinkedIn and things?
I mean, I wish LinkedIn, but oh, good job, guys, blah blah blah. But because we had some awful results in the last few months, you don't see that much. But for example, after the FA Cup game, of course, they are posting. After that draw, like Hoyland posts a lot, and Dalot posts a lot, Bruno posts a lot. Like they post a lot after the games. I'm not sure if they do it after Ten Hag sacking. I cannot remember because honestly, I'm not that much on Instagram or on social media. But when I open the app and of course I follow these players, it's always on my front page. Like they are obviously doing it, but when there are bad results, they don't. If it's a draw, they say, "Oh, we will get them next time." Like they do that. They do that. But yeah, I'm
All right.
just yeah.
I just want to come back to something that you said because I think I mentioned this
Mhm.
during our like halftime chat. Is that my issue with these players that have the main character syndrome and are charging into the box? So when Hoyland's on the ball, it looks like he's got 4 or 5 options in front of him. I always like simple passes that are easy to execute because when you're a player, if you see the ball go 10 yards, 5 yards, or whatever, you know that you can get on your bike as that ball is getting passed. Like a picture begins to form in your mind of where to go, etc. United, when we get the ball, we talk about being compact in defence. We're not compact enough in attack either because there's never any real options except a Bruno like hoofball or Rasmus. I did feel a bit sorry for him because Rasmus isn't a technician of the football. He cannot put the right weight, spin, direction, speed on the ball to the runs that players were making. And
Yeah.
if you want to, here's a tip for anyone that's going to go and join a 5-a-side team or is going to play 11-a-side after an inspirational campaign by the agenda. If you've got a guy who's on the ball and he is running diagonally, your run has to be straight. If he's running straight, you've got to bend your run and you've got to run on a diagonal because it makes it easier for them. When I see our players, they're not like Wenger used to talk about it being something called empathetic IQ or something, where the understanding that you've got to make it easier for your teammates. I don't think that any of our teammates give a shit about making it easy for anyone else. They just want the ball in a certain position and they don't care. And whilst I understand that, you play for Manchester United, you should be able to get the ball there. People like Roy Keane never messed about doing 45 long balls and stuff because the best way to play football is to play it simply, quickly, and support your teammates. And it's what really, really annoyed me today. It's all these basics of being a team, working hard, getting up the pitch, having the courage to show for your players. I don't think that any of them did that. Rasmus, if you're a midfielder and you look up and Rasmus is twerking into a centre back, you don't think, but you don't look up and think, right, that's the ball that I want to hit. You want to see him running on the blind side of the centre back so that he can get it and touch it, look after it, and then you can go. It drives me mental. And also, just before we get back to the comments, a lot of people are having conversations about Garnacho in relation to Cristiano Ronaldo in his first spell and Nani in his first spell. Do you think that maybe these comparisons are a little bit unfair because the teams were so much better, the manager was so much better, and the senior players, the professionalism of the club was completely different?
I agree. I think a bit. I think partially that's right. I think it's unfair to compare teams of these players. When Cristiano came in, he came in a very well-oiled machine. Even though we were kind of in a crisis because Arsenal were, in the, the Invincibles, Jose Mourinho and all that. We needed, a few years to win the Premier League, but we came to that, and he was absolutely amazing. Nani thing, like in the end, I think he was very talented, but once again he came into a very well organized and very old team. But that doesn't excuse, like, I'm not sure why. I think someone said that he is probably the best talent that we had since the Ronaldo. That's why people are talking about it.
More than Pogba.
I mean, Pogba. I felt like I think Rashford, was a bit more talented than him, but he never go. I don't know. Like, I don't know.
They never expected anything from Rashford.
Yeah, that's probably it. But yeah, he came into the.
They were right.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, but yeah, I think he. I hate this word because everyone is throwing it around, and people feel that he has the it factor, maybe the aura of being a great player, and I think he does. But partially he has it, but he needs to fix up. And I don't think that he's nowhere near the talent that Cristiano Ronaldo had. And you know what? What's very interesting about Ronaldo, he was a great hard worker. And I think that most of these footballers that are playing today, they cannot understand how, they cannot understand how Ronaldo was hardworking. Hence why he is one of the best players of all time. But yeah, I think that these players, not just Alejandro Garnacho, I think all are players and the youth, they need to be working hard. And when they do that, and think about it, how will they play? How hard they're going to play? Or if they're going to play for the people, for the fans, for themselves, whatever. They need to find that motivation and start working harder. Because I feel like Garnacho, if he corrects his decision making, and his passing, and as you said, the whole body balance, I think he would be a very good player, in the Premier League, especially.
Yeah,
I think
potential.
He has absolutely potential, but yeah, it's a bit unfair, the comparisons, but I don't think he's nowhere near Ronaldo. And even Nani was talented as well.
Well, I think Nani's a little bit overrated, to be honest. I think that he was like the last true maverick flair player that Manchester United had.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
And I think he represents something that we all miss. Now, Jeff's got an interesting comment. Hello, Jeff. We had some good work moving up the pitch. We just can't finish right now. I couldn't disagree more. I don't think that there was anything from the midfield other than like artillery today, just balls hoofed over the top. We didn't move through their block. I know people said that Caicedo was the best player on the pitch. I think him and Lavia are not very good as a double pivot. I think that you can get at them. So is Jeff talking nonsense, or are we being unfair?
I mean, we had moments, but it's not enough. It happened 1 or 2 times in the game, nothing else. But I will ask you this.
Yes.
So obviously you for example, against Leicester with Ugarte and what's his name? Casemiro. Yeah. They played solid, of course that was Leicester, they had some of the second, team players, team B players playing, but how you obviously aren't satisfied with way the midfield played today. Mm-hmm. What went wrong in your opinion?
First of all, work rate. They don't cover the spaces well enough. We all know that horizontally they don't run enough. All right, they don't get forward quickly enough. They don't get back quickly enough. Today they weren't quick enough to second balls in particular. I was watching them and they were always flat-footed. And Ugarte once again had a bit of a disastrous game today, much removed from his Leicester performance. And a lot of it was because he was static, then having to break into a sprint. Then a player turns and he's late or he brings them down. Ball carrying was poor. Casemiro, you can't just rely off pretending to read the game. Like when people talk about reading the game, you're not reading the game. You're reading your teammates, and you're using experience and where you need to fill in and stuff, and where they're trying to pressure the ball, where it's most likely to go. Casemiro was just wandering around reacting. And that's the issue, is that we just do what we normally do, where Chelsea don't put a lot of pressure on the front line. They've got very lazy forwards. Like I mean, I can understand why Pep got rid of Cole Palmer. He doesn't work anywhere near hard enough to be a Manchester City player. Like he just doesn't. He's a great player, but he does not have the work rate to play for a top team yet. And so when you have that lack of work rate in front of you, it's very easy to get like Martinez, De Ligt, Mazraoui, Dalot into a back three. But from there, your job as a midfielder is to move that block, stay solid, circulate the ball, keep things ticking over. Don't do anything too stupid. Keep that pressure on. March up the pitch. Like, keep that pressure going. And before you know it, you've got a team pinned in. And there's no way out. And from there, the individual qualities of, like, let's pretend that Rasmus has some. Like, he might be able to beat someone on the back post with a bit of quality. But what our midfield do is they get the ball, a switch goes off in their head. In Casemiro's, it's, I'm going to kick this ball into that bit of space there and see what happens. And in Gate's head, it's, I'm now going to be Marcus Rashford and just run in a straight line at as many players as I possibly can. And it's you're going to get nowhere doing this. It's like the basics of football go out the window for that midfield. Like they're so unfit. Like they're so on the back foot, and they're so unconcerned with looking after the football. It's I can't believe what I'm seeing, and especially against Leicester, it's complete opposite. I mean
Leicester is. I mean, they rotated a lot. We didn't rotate that time that much. You can agree on that. They rotated quite a lot,
Leicester?
I would say. Yes, they did. They had, more players from the team B than we had. That's for sure. I mean, look back at their start 11.
Yeah, but right. So do you think that the players that they rotated, who have come in fit and hungry, do you think they put less pressure on the ball across the pitch than Chelsea did today?
Probably not. I think they were kind of the same in that. I'm trying to remember because I fell asleep during the game. That's why I couldn't come on. But yeah, I mean, I think you are right with the pressure stuff. But I mean, it's just, I don't know. I feel that today both teams were very messy, very sloppy. It's just, you were trying to, and of course, they scored not by creating something. They scored from unforced errors from each team. We scored because of, Sanchez made a mistake and their defender couldn't, follow that cross at all. And we conceded because, it was a great goal, by the way, by Caicedo. I think he hit it very well.
Lovely
but once
technique.
again, very lovely. But once again, I was expecting at least one player in front of that guy. Like no one.
They didn't get out quick enough.
Yes, they didn't.
Fitness,
on that side.
desire.
Yes, exactly from that side. And it's just basic mistakes, as you said. What do you think about Bruno? I felt today that after Leicester game, he had an okay game, I would say, but I really don't like when he goes to the left back position and he's very deep and tries to hoof the ball across the pitch, and then it ends up, it ends up, in the legs of the opposing defender and all that. I like him.
Is this the Hollywood crossfield?
Yeah, and also he had that huge chance that he should score, but once again, as you said,
he made two chances though.
Sometimes I feel like yes, he did, but like if he is more calm and collected, he scores that. But once again, he wants it too much, and he just hoofs it, and it ended up. I think the ball hit me in Croatia, in all honesty. But how do you feel? Like I felt like that he played okay today.
Yes, I think he did play okay. I don't think that he was the worst player. And I actually quite like it when midfielders drift out into deep, wide positions because it opens the block up. It's a nice rotation to see a midfielder drop into left back or left centre back roles, get your best passer there. We've seen it from Eriksen. We see Pogba do it a lot. I've got absolutely no issues with doing that. But
isn't he more in a, of course it's more fortunately you don't have a number 10 classic number 10 anymore, but he's more of an attacking midfielder. Why not be more further up and let Casemiro and Ugarte do that? Like, how do you that's my question, right? I'm not
because what it means is that people have to come out after the ball. Sorry, I'm getting distracted because Andrew always brings this up about Darius III or whatever getting done over by someone. Like, yes, I have an interesting name. Not many people have it, but like, what is this, Darius Carius?
In Croatia, you would be called Dario. Remember Dario Serna? So you would
Dario
be.
G.
Sorry.
Dario G.
Yeah,
famous song. Is there not in Poland? I think there was a guy called Darius Adamczyk or something with a Z at the end.
Yeah, but we have Darius. It's like a Croatian version of Dario, which is interesting. So you would be Dario.
Well, anyway, what you do, Dora, when you drop that guy back, who's your best passer, pressure on the ball, someone's got to come out and deal with him because you can't give players time and space in the Premier League. You're basically doing the reverse of what Liverpool do with Trent Alexander-Arnold, where they have their best passer in that position, and sometimes he goes into midfield. But you've got to go and close that player down, and that means you're disrupting the enemy's block. So I'm absolutely fine. I'm absolutely fine with this as a principle, but it goes back to something we talked about earlier, which is the team not being compact enough in attack, where the only pass is that one out to Rashford. We are
not running enough into space. They're not working hard, like you said.
They're not showing for the ball in those positions. It could be. I mean, Bart made a great comment earlier, but I lost it. And it was about how have United ended up with players that can't run, are selfish and can't score, which is true. But the thing is that I think that a lot of those players don't like receiving the ball at a certain angle and they hide from it. Because of where you're taking the contact and stuff. And I think that the problem is that Bruno just has that in him. Like the scorpion and the frog, or I can't remember what Yabba called it, the rooster and the alligator or something. The story of the scorpion and the frog, where the frog stings the scorpion because it's in their nature and they both die. Bruno just cannot resist hitting that long ball out. And I think that you need people to come and drop around him and give him that pass, because when you switch the ball, you should always switch the ball from the center of the pitch. It's like an immutable rule of football, because when you move it to the center of the pitch and you've manipulated that block by having Bruno in a different position, there might be a gap between the lines. And in our football team, the whole point is to get a player receiving the ball in between the lines, looking at the goal. And so it's when I see stuff like that, I get so angry. I get so angry because I know there's so many fundamental errors that I'm seeing from a football team that has so many resources. I think.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to discuss it a bit more. Does it is it well, it's obviously you always wonder what these players did in the last, or have been doing in the last 3 seasons, because what I always felt, under Ten Hag, and I know he's gone, we are getting a new manager, of course, but he needs to take some of the responsibility. You always wonder what these players did in those training grounds, right? During those training sessions. It feels, I I think I cannot name you 5 players on one hand who actually, understand the fundamentals of how we want to play, because I never felt that, even even in that first season, right? So it's just, I hope that when Amorim comes in, he's going to teach some of these players. But I feel like, as you said, that I'm like, we are going to need another rebuild. We are going to need to get rid of some of these players, and buy some of them who will understand and who will adapt to Amorim's system, because it's getting like, if we are talking, like, we of course talked about Ten Hag and his system, or lack of it, or whatever, but it's just sometimes like the players are not very good, honestly, and they don't even run, and they're not even hardworking, which is absolutely insane. And to hear for a Premier League that is Manchester United, because we always had hard workers, and I feel like this squad of players are not, they're not up to par for it. They're not on par
Right.
with it.
So one of the problems, Dora, might be how you deliver. These are the problems as I see them. The first one, I'm sorry to sound like Yabba, but I think it's a cultural thing about standards where, like, if you're late and you're pissing about in the dressing room and stuff like that, it does filter out on the pitch. I think there's team cohesion as well, which we've talked about having the people to make suicide runs, to do the dirty stuff. I think that when you look at the McFred double pivot and the genuine success that we had with that in the league, a lot of it was because we had 2 water carriers that were letting Greenwoods and Rashfords and Brunos kind of like get away with stuff. So I think that, like, maybe the squad isn't balanced enough with enough workers and enough decent characters. But the other thing is, I think instructions are just so important in anything, because when you talk about, I hate this, right? When people say players don't understand the system.
Yeah.
Like, you have absolutely no right to talk on a professional footballer and professional systems in this way. You don't understand them. Like, it's ridiculous. It's like me talking about quantum physics or something like that. I know a couple of words, but I couldn't tell you a Higgs boson. I don't know. It gives mass or something. No idea. You leave that to Stephen Hawkins of this world. Hang on. He means Mesopotamian, Nebuchadnezzar.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Mesopotamia means between 2 rivers.
Yeah.
But the issue, Dora, is that, like, the simplest instructions are things like, when we've got the ball, get ahead of the ball, and things like that. I think that so much of this possession-based positional football is massively overcomplicated. Like, what you're doing on a football pitch is defending, attacking, and making space. And I don't see Martinez and De Ligt defending space particularly well. I don't see Bruno using space well, and I don't see Rasmus creating space. The only person I saw on the pitch that created space tonight was Garnacho when he stood still. That was a moment of him making a little bit of space for himself. And I can't believe that these players are as crap as they show week in, week out.
Yeah.
But they do. Like, they're absolutely rubbish, because they're not following what I consider to be principles of football. Like, and they're not following the principles of being like decent teammates. Like, who was running channels today?
Only channel in that, like, which river is there a river going through Manchester? I'm not sure about geography. That was the only channel that went through Manchester today at, what was it, 5:30, 4:30 p.m. No one ran, unfortunately. I mean, is that why you said they need to be more narrow, not wide? That's why you said it, because of the channels,
two
right?
reasons. Yeah. 2 reasons is that when you're narrow, the other team are going to be narrow as well. They're going to be narrow anyway. But so you're trying to do 3 things when you play narrow. the first thing is it's a defensive principle that if you lose the ball and you're narrow, you're going to be better to defend than if you're wide, because it's not all going to be 1v1s all over the pitch. So you play narrow and on one side of the pitch to stop you like getting counter attacks conceded against you. Like City, Arsenal, every team does this. The second reason that you want to play narrow is because you want to be able to combine with your players with quick passing. And if you can combine and move quickly, you're able to manipulate blocks and you're able to play through them. Okay? A lot of that is to do with the angles and things. And the other thing is that it means that you can then open up. It means that if you're playing narrow and then you go wide, the other team's block will have to adjust to that, and there's more spaces for you to work in, because the block isn't like a mechanical unit. It's people move at different speeds and at different times. So those are some of the reasons. There are more, but those are the main reasons why you want to be narrow. And the key is that it essentially gives you passing options whilst allowing you to protect yourselves. I need to do some comments, Dora, because we've ignored them for a bit, but I'm very happy to carry on speaking to you. We're going to start off with Big G. He's telling us the first thing you learn in professional football is the most important. It's positioning above anything else. Ours is shocking and amateurish, 100% more so attacking. Do you know what the first thing you learn in professional football is, Big G, these days? It is making sure that you pass to your players, to your teammates, outside foot. That is what they think is the most important thing.
Yeah.
We've got 23 likes. Thank you very much, everyone. I won you over. What are you talking about? That's exactly what I think when I watch the eye test. You're making something seem significant that isn't. Andrew, the eye test is essentially just a collection of me complaining about channel runs. You'll never be able to tell me the channel run that isn't important. There weren't any today, and we just deal with basic football concepts on the eye test. Like it's just that everyone out. I saw a video the other day. It's the most popular video on Amarin, right? I watched it after we did our big special. The guy didn't know what the rest defense was. He thought the rest defense was a block and something that you do out of possession. It blows my mind. Can you do eye test? I have actually, Bart. We did it the other week. Maybe when he comes, but the thing is no one really enjoys the eye test, to be honest. So I don't know if we're going to keep it going. The forward thinking element comes with training and repetition. It's pretty simple, to be honest. Oh, Dan James scored for Leeds. I like Dan James. These footballers learned the finer details of football before the basics became second nature. That's such an interesting argument. What do you think to that, Dora?
Let me read it again. These players learned the finer details of football before the
no fundamentals.
No fundamentals. Yeah, I think, like, for example, like great example of it is in the NBA, whenever the young players come from the college, there is that program that it's called AAU, and it brings in very talented individuals, mostly physically talented individuals who are later thrown into college, or they get college scholarships and all that. And what people settle in the last few years is that whenever these AAU athletes come to the NBA, AAU, I don't know, it's like a youth thing. They I don't know, people in the comments are going to tell you, but it's like a program.
Okay.
It's like a program. It doesn't matter, right? It's like young talented athletic beasts are getting into college, and then later they are in the NBA if they get drafted, right? American Athletic Union, thank you. So you have these players, coming into an NBA, and they are athletic freaks. They can jump very high. They are very fast. They are, able to, and all that, but they don't know fundamentals. And what happened in the last few years is that these Europeans who are coming, Euroleague is not that exceptional, but what we in Europe do well is we are playing fundamental basketball. And these
Okay.
players from 16 years old, they are amazing, and they go to NBA, and they kind of showcase their tactical prowess, and sometimes in comparison to their peers who came into this at the same time to the league. And now they're trying to make sure that young American NBA players, or potential NBA players, actually learn how to play basketball and basics of basketball. And I think it happened. You're absolutely right, King Dino. I think it's happening at football again, because you can see that these players are able to play, something, right, or in a system, or one particular system. But whenever they come out of it, or they go to the other team, or they get to the senior, football or whatever, they are struggling. And I think it needs to be addressed, especially at Manchester United.
Well, I think like maybe Bart can help me out with this, but we used to have a tough time against Liverpool when they had Danny Murphy constantly scoring free kicks against us. I think they might have had a player called Mohamed Sissoko or something. Mm-hmm. They had
Mamadou Sissoko.
Well, wasn't he a
No, Sako. I'm sorry. It was Sako, the French guy, the defender.
No, it was right. So basically, they put two absolute athletes in their midfield, Liverpool.
Okay.
Like they were so strong and fast, and they weren't particularly good at football. But I've always considered it to be a bit of a turning point in British football, what they did, because now I watched a little bit of Villa versus Spurs today. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, I did.
Every single one of those midfielders would eat our midfield alive physically. Like I was watching players like Ramsey and Morgan Roberts. What's he called? Morgan. Rogers. Yeah. I was seeing the way that they were taking contact, their work rate. They were absolutely incredible physical performance. And the reason that they're not at the top end of football is because they don't have that elite level skill that, say, for example, a Rodri has, who is also an absolute physical monster, like the amount of headers and challenges and things he wins. All it screams to me is midfield rebuild. Like that, it's all I can see is that Ugarte. I think we've seen enough from Ugarte that he can do okay. Exactly, Steph. McTominay is exactly the kind of player that like you need in your team, like for this kind of stuff. I would take Joel Linton from Newcastle in a heartbeat now. Like just big physical players, because the running, the work rate, the showing for your teammates, it's what we're missing. I'll tell you what, no one here can tell me that if you had a Sunday League team, the easiest team to play in the Premier League is Manchester United because of the lack of running and the lack of physicality. I would love a go at our midfield. I reckon that I would look all right, to be honest. Which is crazy. Which means we've got to stop, Dora, haven't we? We've done an hour and 20 minutes now.
Yeah.
Unless, do you want to talk about anything else?
No, I mean, we are probably going to cover it, during the week. What is the next game that time for Manchester United, if you know?
Well, I think that the next game that we're going to be covering on the agenda is Sporting versus Manchester City on Tuesday. I don't know if that's going to be a watch along, but I'm going to ask the lads if we want to do a reaction show to that game where everyone will have seen the same sporting match, and we can all discuss what we saw.
Yeah, I think that would be a cool idea to see how Amorim, maybe analyze his team a bit more.
Do you want to come on for it?
I'll let you know. That's Tuesday, right? In 2 days.
I think so. I think it's Tuesday. So the show would be about 10 o'clock. As I said, we haven't finalized this, but I think it would be really cool, wouldn't it, for all of us to watch the game, nothing to do with Manchester United, and then come in and talk about players and things without bias. I'd really like to do that.
Yeah, Yeah,
We
I'll let
deserve
you know.
better for it.
Yeah,
Chat
I
sport.
think. Yeah, I think it would be a great thing to learn how he plays, and maybe share our thoughts with chat. I mean, everyone is curious to see how Amorim plays. So yeah, that's a great idea. I will probably. I will try to be there most
Well, at
certainly and
least
watch the
watch
game.
it, and then we
Yeah,
can discuss it at a different time.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like there's a lot of support for this. I'll tell you what, right? If the lads aren't up for it, I'll do it myself. And I'll just come on by myself at 10:15. And for those of you that are interested, we can do it.
Yeah.
Just before we go, Andrew is asking for a recommendation for a film. Do you know of any sort of Chinese films, Dora, that Andrew might be interested in watching, possibly involving a kangaroo?
Moon Man.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think that, of course, that one. But yeah, the Substance. With the Demi Moore and
Oh, The Substance.
yeah, the Substance, the new movie that is probably going to be. I mean, there are speculations Demi Moore is going to be nominated for Oscar because she's great in it. So yeah, probably watch that. It's a very strange movie. I think Andrew will like it. It's not. It's not. Something usual. But yeah. Yeah. There,
Right.
I don't know what to say. Watch Moon
Everyone
Man.
watch
Watch Moon Man.
Substance.
The Substance or
Yeah.
Moon Man.
No, watch Moon Man is absolutely brilliant. Go and look up Moon Man. You'll never see a film like it. Absolutely incredible. We'll do a review tomorrow night on Moon Man. But we've got to leave all of you beautiful people. Thank you so much to everyone that's joined for an hour and 20 minutes of this. I hope that you've enjoyed it, that you found it a bit cathartic, and that you're excited about the week ahead. It's a lack a notch from me.
Lack a notch from me.
And it's me trying to find the outro button. Bye-bye.